All right, after a Clinton IT specialist gave Congress the stiff arm Tuesday, Chair of the House Oversight Committee Jason Chaffetz expressed his deep frustration right here on Fox and Friends. Listen.
First of all, we have a duly issued subpoena, and we had Mr. Pagliano choose to not show up. Guess what? This ain't an optional exercise. When you have a subpoena issued, if it happened to anybody else in the world, do you think you'd be in jail or put to have some handcuffs on you? Well, I mean, they got to show up.
Question now, will Brian Pagliano face legal consequences for ignoring the subpoena, or will he walk away scot-free? Well, here to weigh in, Fox News senior judicial analyst, Judge Andrew Napolitano. Always good to have you on the couch.
Good to be with you, Abby.
All right, so what is going on here? I mean, this really is sort of, in your words, a head-scratcher, because any other person that would be issued a subpoena, you would think, would face some sort of legal trouble after this.
Well, if he didn't want to answer the questions, it would have been legally proper for him to show up and assert his Fifth Amendment privilege against self-incrimination, which he's done before. But the reason I say it's a head-scratcher is there's no legal basis for him simply not to show up. Congressman Chaffetz is exactly correct. But the ball is in the court of the House of Representatives. They need to go to a judge and have the judge order him to show, and then if he violates that, then the judge will hold him in contempt, and then he could face jail time. The whole process is not very long and can be done in a couple of weeks. But there's simply no legal basis, or in my opinion, even rationale, for him not showing up.
Well, and this just feeds into the narrative and to why this oversight committee is even having these hearings. The critics of this would say, look, the FBI has already made their decision. We already know that, you know, she's not been charged for this, right? So why are we still questioning those folks?
Because the evidence of Mrs. Clinton's failure to safeguard state secrets that were given to her in her job responsibility as Secretary of State is overwhelming. The evidence that she lied about this under oath is overwhelming. The evidence that people that worked for her destroyed her mobile devices and irretrievably wiped clean her server is overwhelming. This is called obstruction of justice. And the FBI looked the other way. So when Congress saw this, they said, maybe this is a political decision by the FBI. Give us your records so that we can view them. That's when this problem started. The FBI does not want to surrender its full records to the Congress. That's why Congressman Chaffetz personally served an FBI agent on national television while he was testifying with a subpoena to produce all of their files. And over in the Senate side, a similar event is going on.
So what are the questions they'd want to ask at this point, Jason Chaffetz? If they actually did show up for these hearings, what are the things they'd want to know at this point?
What is the evidence that you ignored, and why did you ignore it? That's what I would ask if I were in a position to interrogate the FBI agents. Were you free to investigate Mrs. Clinton from the beginning? I think the answer to that is no, because they did not use normal law enforcement tools available to them. They didn't summon a grand jury. They didn't get any subpoenas. They didn't serve any search warrants. They just didn't do this is a most un-FBI-like investigation.
Just so many questions remain.
Yes.
Judge Napolitano, always good to have you here.
Oh, nice to be with you.
Good to see you this morning.